Hello, yeah. Hey there everyone, this is Life welcome back to my playthrough of Etrian Odyssey 3. Today we're going to do Narmer. This is another one in post because I didn't like the original audio recording, so it's really easy to... I like the technology that I have now because it will let me do things like this. But essentially we're going to do Narmer today. I'm going to see you guys on the 4th floor. It won't take that long, especially since it's pre-edited. You may have noticed that the map has already been filled in. That's because I had a prior incident with Narmer. My first attempt got me killed. I saved the map data. One thing I remember when I did this the second time is I did not remember to get the Amrita in the top right box in A7. I do recommend that you go get that. The shortcut there is not going to be prohibitive in any way. And essentially, to get to Narmer, you just have to evaluate the terrain. If you didn't get the Remote Simi's help like I did, you won't get too many messages here. Otherwise, the Remote Simi Guild will kind of run down on hints on how to do this. It's very nice, actually, of them to do that. But if you didn't accept their help, well, you're going to figure this out on your own. And it's not that hard. You just have to take advantage of the terrain in order to get it to happen. I do this in, of course, record time. And by that I mean almost record time. And just go straight for him, showing you the most direct route to be able to reach him. You'll always get a preemptive strike on this first visit. And take advantage of that. Meet Narmer, the first Stratum boss in the game. He's actually reasonably difficult, even for a team like mine that is somewhat optimized. He can be a little hard. With optimized equipment, it should be much easier, though. I do recommend that. I personally brought Guard Tactic, Charge Tactic, and Dongle. I'm going to recommend you to bring Dongle Cross/Slash Guard Tactic, if at all possible. And one major reason Guard Tactic is important is something we'll discuss later on when he does the attack. He has 4 notable attacks. He has a multi-party hit attack that hits randomly. He has a front row hit attack, ice attack to be specific, that causes blind. He has a single target attack, and he has another move I can't quite remember. Oh yes, he has earthquake, where he dives underwater and then attacks you from there. If you haven't been hearing the singularity beeps, Narmer is weak to Volt, which makes him very vulnerable to everything. He resists piercing damage, which means Amina and Gandra are doing slightly less damage than I would like them to. That's okay. It is possible to blind Narmer. It is also possible to poison Narmer, which makes for some hilarity if you're using a wildling with Call Butterfly or whatever it is. You can essentially kill this guy in 3 turns, because the poison's so strong. Now here's his earthquake attack. You'll spend a turn diving, and because my characters are blinded, this is essentially a crack shoot. But I ended up hitting him on the first try anyway, because the Toro Hammer that Kira is wielding increases her hit rate, so that the blind isn't as big of a deal on her. So I kinda just took chances there. Earthquake, when he's this high in health, usually won't kill you. Earthquake is an attack that scales with his health, I'm pretty sure. The less health he has, the stronger the earthquake is. A lot of his attacks scale with health, actually. He gets more hits with his Tide Ripper as he gets lower on health, and he has a higher chance to inflict blind when he's lower on health. But you won't actually see him get to lower on health on your first encounter with him, because he's going to run away halfway through. I must have been explaining something here. What are you doing, guy? And... it's difficult to describe. He's gonna fin smack Vincent, and that's not gonna be a big deal. If you have hit on your weapons, you're actually quite able to hit through blind, which is nice. I did mention that you could status this guy. This is one of the few bosses you can reasonably status. You can't petrify him though, I don't think. Anyways, after you beat him once, and I say once, after you get him down to half health, he flees like a coward and leaves behind a bunch of bog lurkers. You can face bog lurkers. They're going to take quite the energy to defeat, and I think they're kind of worse to face than the boss himself sometimes. But I mean, they have an attack that heals them for how much damage they do, and they're in general annoying. I take the fastest way to get Narmer to go where you want to go is to go to the far right, get before he does, and then to force him to go left, because you can't get him while he's in the upper right corner. There's no other way there. So I force him in the upper left corner. And then once again, you get the preemptive strike, and Phase 2 happens. Phase 2 is the harder of the stages. The earthquakes hit harder, the blind attack has a higher chance of inflicting blind. it's just all sorts of things that make his second phase a lot worse. And this is the likely point where you will die, even if you're kind of prepared. There's really no way you can fail the first phase, in my opinion. If you do everything right, you won't fail the first phase ever. But the second phase has a tendency of being kind of random. Like, if you miss him while he's underwater, that's essentially game over. As I will show you in an extra clip in a little bit that demonstrates my first death and what happens. So you do kind of the same thing. You just kind of wail on him to the best of your abilities, defend when you think it's a good idea, use Provoke to make sure they hit Amna. Fin Smack doesn't hurt that much, etc, etc. An interesting note, if you're using an Arbalist, your Volt Barrage will do neutral damage to him because of his resistance to Pierce being 50% and his weakness to Volt being 200, I'm pretty sure. So the damage event actually cancels out. However, if you have Singularity, you will get the Singularity boost because the Volt part of your attack is technically effective on him. But you can't have Singularity on an Arbalist, I hear you say. Not yet. More on subclassing and stuff once we get to the third stratum, though. I must have been explaining something again. Come on, guy. What are you doing? What are you explaining? I think I'm expressing my fear of him going underwater. He usually goes underwater after he blinds your front row, so I'm trying to think about being proactive. That's a pattern of his. If he blinds your front row, he's more likely to dive under. So I recommend bringing Derek Bees for this fight, especially for that purpose. Line heal on your monk is a very good idea. Otherwise, you can try using those freebie Medoras that the floor gave you, if you ever need a quick line heal. Now, I'm expecting him to dive or to use his front row attack sometime soon, so I popped the guard tactic, which is very, very important for living. With the guard tactic and Provoke, Amina took all 4 hits. That was amazing. That tactic could do up to 5. The lower on health he is, the more hits it does. Oh man. So I was like, yeah, but I'm kind of worried because she still has the Provoke up, so I defend with her. Just to make sure that she can live another turn. And there we go, he does the mud throw attack, and I notice the blind, and I'm like, I need to heal that blind immediately. And it's a very good idea to be proactive on healing blind, because he's, if he goes underwater and you can't hit him when he's underwater, that's game over, man. As I will, it's just, you just can't recover from that. Like, you have a 5 in 6 chance of hitting him while he's underwater, which is pretty good. You have a 4 in 6 if one person is blinded. You have a 3 in 6 if 2 people are blinded. You don't want to play with dice on this boss if you can't help it. Even though you technically play dice every single time. If you have the cross/limit skill, as I was saying earlier, you can hit all 6 of these spots and guarantee that he gets out of here. Which is why I kind of recommended Overcharge Tactic, but I use Charge Tactic. I defend with all my characters, but I somehow luck out with the 1 in 6. I was expecting not to be able to hit him, so I played it safe. And defended because I had the guard tactic up and I knew I could take a hit if I defended, but luck. I'm not sure. Everyone gets to 15, we get a free Volt Whisker. And the game gives us some flavor text about how hard this fight is. You can do this fight as early as level 12. I think level 12 is about the time when you can start beating this boss. I've heard people do it at like levels of, I've seen the low at 7 when they do low level challenges and stuff. Some people are like that. I'm gonna map this room and then I'm gonna show you the clip of when I died and saved my map data, just so you're aware of what exactly happened. Exactly how I died and how easy it is to die to Narmer if you get unlucky and or if he blinds you. So here's this footage. None of my attacks are connecting and he gets the earthquake off. Kills Kira, kills Zera, leaves everybody else on minimal health. I think I can get out of it free, and I use Indomitable. I'm gonna cut ahead to that. So I use Indomitable, and I try using Nectar's Reviving, but he uses his he just uses his Ripper attack and just shreds the team. And that is how I died the first time. Save the map data, and etc, etc. It's part of what made the, I was kind of mad, or I don't know, I was in a bad mood after dying the first time to him, so that's why that's why I'm doing post-commentary for this a few hours later, and why this episode was so late today. So welcome to the second stratum. It's a very interesting stratum. I'm gonna definitely go more on that when I do a live version, live episode tomorrow. But the second stratum I think is one of the more fascinating stratums. It's very serene. The enemies are challenging enough for your level without being super overpowered. It's a nice mix of difficulty and appeal. We're gonna meet Kadra here. He's gonna be the same guy he always is. He likes to help you and then he puts you down, you know, that kind of behavior. He thinks that he respects us, then he puts you down. I don't know what's up with this guy. He has a superiority complex or something. Somewhere here lies the Deep City. The Deep City is a very interesting thing. On-road, the Synodus is seeking this Deep City because they know that it was the old Armor Road. It was the Armor Road before the Calamity, if you will. So they're trying to get after that. At least I think that's how it is. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've gotten into the story of this game, man. He's going to tell us about the geomagnetic fields, or as it's called in this game, the submagnetic pole. I'm used to calling them geomagnetic fields, so just note I'll use the terms interchangeably between submagnetic pole and geomagnetic field. And essentially, it's the game's way of being nice to you and making sure that you don't have to go all the way from the first floor all the way down to the 5th floor every time you want to go to the second stratum. It's essentially a free teleporter. It also allows you to save your game while you're inside the labyrinth, so you can preserve your limit skills and go take a break. That is, if you don't just sleep mode anyway. And that's very useful. It has a lot of functions. He's gonna nod us away. And usually at this point I would go ahead and cover the small dead ends in the lower right corner and the right side of this floor. But I decided against it and just went to directly save my game. I'm probably going over the options, which were very self-explanatory. I don't know why I would do that. And then we're going to quickly go back to town, sell all the stuff, and get the Synodus thing out of the way. So go into here, we're going to sell this for a bow. If you have a Arbalist, this bow is amazing. I recommend it. 10 out of 10 would purchase. I believe his conditional drop also gives a bow, but it's like mighty expensive. And it would take hours of grinding money and using a coupon in order to actually be able to afford it. I buy some tents there because I know I was low. And we go into the Synodus and report these results in. Turn from by old Narmer, praiseworthy feat. She thought of us to be weak people, but we turned out to be better than that. She gives us permission to go into the Undersea Grotto and hopes that we are not killed. She also gives you a little bit of flavor too about it and how it's filled with air and you can traverse it. In recognition of your service, she gives you the 1500 in reward and plenty of experience to get your characters directly to level 15 if they aren't already. This boss's appropriate level is probably 14 as I fought it. If you're not if you're not high enough level for the fight, you have a few options. You can farm EXP off of the sea bosses, or you can do a foe rush. I like foe rushes because they help me determine that I am strong enough for the boss. Usually, if I can beat all the FOEs, I can beat the boss. That's just how it usually connects. I allocated some of the skill points there. Singularity, Etheric Charge, more on Etheric Charge later. Earth Bounding to another level. Parry to its maximum level, and Monarch March to 5, which I think is a little overkill for now, but I figure I'm on the way there. I may as well do that now. Then I save the game, and hey there everyone, this has been Life, as always, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Goodbye. You know, that ending. One I always do. Okay, I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye.